What's up guys, welcome back. I don't know if you guys have seen this gun on the channel before. This is my Remington 700. It is a 6.5 Creedmoor, kind of a longer range gun. I know I'm gonna get some comments on the bipod. I know it's not a high-end bipod or anything. I just threw it on for ease of working on it and stuff. This is your normal stock Remington 700. Nothing fancy's been done to it. I bought it like this with this stock on it. It's got the magpul hunter stock. If you guys have one of these, you know how heavy the trigger is on this thing. Let me show you here. So this trigger, there's no take up, but it is like extremely heavy to pull. And that's one of the things that I didn't like about this gun. So I grabbed a new Timney trigger for this Remington 700. This is the Timney Elite Hunter trigger, and it's totally adjustable. You can adjust pull weight, you can adjust the over travel. So I wanted to try this out and throw it in here. But before we do that, I want to do a trigger pull test on the factory trigger, see what it's pulling at, and then after we throw the Elite Hunter Timney trigger in, we'll do another trigger pull test and see how much it dropped that. This thing is empty. We'll do a quick trigger pull test, do kind of an average of 3 pulls. I just have this Lyman trigger pull gauge that we'll use. Also, any of this stuff that you see in the video, the pull gauge, the trigger, any of that stuff, I'll have a link in the description so you can follow that link. It'll take you over to our website and you guys can go buy this stuff or look at it if you want to. .62. £5 pounds, 13 ounces. £5 6 ounces. So not the lightest, but we're gonna throw this Timney in and see how it changes the trigger pull on this thing. It's not a hard process as long as you have punches and a hammer, maybe a little bench block, stuff like that to get this trigger out of here. So first off, we're gonna pull out these Allen screws and take the whole barreled action out of the chassis so we can get access to those pins to pull that trigger off. YouTube's cracking down on install videos and stuff like that recently. I've had a couple videos taken down, but there are videos out there showing how to install these triggers. If you want a step-by-step close-up install video, go find those. But I'm just gonna do a quick overview and kind of explain what I'm doing. So that's what it looks like out of the gun, just the barreled action. Now you can see there's a pin right here and one right up here that need to be driven out from right to left and then put back in left to right. So I'm going to pull this bolt out, get it on my bench block so it's got something to support it, and then drive those pins out. One thing you need to be careful of is the spring for this bolt release. There's a little wire spring under there, and if you push this pin all the way out, that'll release that spring and it'll go flipping everywhere. So I've seen a lot of guys that just drive that pin out just enough so it still holds that spring, but you're still able to get the trigger out. Or just take it out totally, just make sure you keep your finger over that so it doesn't go flying everywhere. So that's the method of driving it partially out. You can see that that spring is still in place right up underneath, but that trigger will pivot down, and then you'll drive that front pin out as well. So this Timney trigger, like I said, it's the Elite Hunter. It is adjustable for over travel, and you can adjust it from 1.5 to 4 pounds of pull weight. Everything's enclosed. It is all one unit. No springs that are going to pop out like on the factory trigger or anything like that. Comes with a curved, kind of a little bit wider trigger shoe than the factory. So to install this, you're going to put your front pin in first and then rotate it up into the action and then put your rear pin in. So here's what that looks like with that new Timney trigger installed. One thing you do want to check is that your bolt release still operates freely and your safety operates freely. So now I'll take this, drop it back in my chassis, get it bolted down, and then we'll do another trigger pull test. These bolts that bolt it to the chassis, one's longer than the other one. The longer one goes in the rear and the shorter one goes in the front. So that's back in the chassis. Throw our bolt back in, make sure it catches. Again, double check, just make sure everything works properly. Bolt release is working. Make sure the safety's working. Oh. The only visual that you can tell is really that trigger shoe looks a little bit different. It has a little bit of, there's some grooves right on the front of that for grip, and then you can barely see kind of the anodized color of that trigger right in there. So let's do another trigger pull test. £2 11. £3. And 2.2, so that averaged 2.9 pounds. So we were just over 5 before, so we dropped a good 2 pounds, a little over 2 pounds on the trigger pull. That, again, there's no take up on it. Nice clean brake. Over travel is minimal. So that lightened that trigger pull quite a bit. Like I said, you can adjust that trigger anywhere from 1.5 up to 4 pounds. And you can also adjust the over travel if that's something that bothers you. Like I mentioned, I'll have a link down below. That'll take you over to our website and you'll be able to find any of this stuff I use, the trigger pull gauge, the punch and hammer, this little Wheeler gunsmithing set that I got. I'll have links down below so you can go over there and check all those out if you want. And I'll also link to the trigger that I put in this. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that thumbs up button, and we'll check you guys on the next one.